Hello, it's me again, Kelly from Hedge Witch Herbarium and also Portal Stormer, the two channels I have on YouTube. And I recently did a video for the pink moon today. It's the 12th of April, and I did some trance work to share my methods and some interesting results I had there. But I'm also doing a tarot reading for the same reason, for the pink moon. I'm sort of developing the questions in my mind, but I just wanted to test out these new decks I got. The first one was the Green Witch's Oracle deck, which is using herbs and gemstones, and it's really wonderful. I had a look through, but I haven't used it yet, so I thought this is a nice gentle tarot to use on the pink moon, full moon in Libra apparently. But also I'm going to do a reading with this other one I got. Both of these were $17 on Amazon. Woodland Wardens. I've seen Jessica Rue's work before, so when I saw the deck I was really excited. So they're not like normal tarot decks. It's not like there's the 78 cards, the major arcana, whatever. They're set up differently. But I've got the little guide books to use to see what they say the cards mean. So what I want to do is, first of all, do a you tell me reading. I like to throw it out into the universe, to rather than project what I want to hear about or what I might think would happen or wish would happen. I want the universe to tell me the things, the unknown things that I might not be focusing on. For me personally, just a quick recap, I've gone through some trauma processing this year, starting in January with a 2-day retreat I took myself on at the Penwell Ridge Retreat Center here in Tennessee, Ashland City, and started a journey of unearthing all the childhood trauma that I'd kind of repressed, and it really answered a lot of questions about certain things in my life, how I am with people and so forth. But I didn't want this to all be about trauma, even though with the pink moon and feeling like a few weeks ago I opened my heart to develop compassion and also forgiveness for my mum for the stuff that I'd gone through as a child. Not condoning, but forgiving for my sake, to move on. And it really has dampened down the anger and rage I had towards not only her, but people in my childhood who stood back knowing what was going on and didn't do anything about it. And I don't excuse people very easily, but hanging on to that was hurting me. And for my mental health, I felt like for me it really worked. So being a pink moon today, I wanted to think about compassion, not only how can I be a better person, what's going on for me, but also how to continue the self-care. I know how to, but I just thought this moon is a really good time to actually do that mirror work, and that's why I did that trance video. But here I wanted to see, based on the results I got with certain things in my past, and also how I deal with people, I want to see what the cards have to say to me. And eventually, as I've mentioned before in videos when I've done tarot, I will eventually open it up to do collective readings, see what comes up. But I'm going to start with the Green Witch Oracle deck. I think this is it. I've got to make sure I don't get everything mixed up. But with the Green Witch Oracle deck, it's really witchy. I love the witchy vibes. and I really love breaking in a new deck. I mentioned in the last video, I'm not the kind of person who thinks you have to be gifted a tarot deck, otherwise you won't get true readings or whatever. I've always bought my own decks, always had great readings. I mean, a lot of that's projection. People, oh, if you don't do this, blah blah blah. That said, I do certain things when I'm doing tarot readings. I don't cross my feet usually, but I've noticed I prefer to cross my feet when I'm doing the Deviant Moon Tarot for some reason, because it goes deeper, darker into what's going on. But let's see what fell out. Now, some people don't like reading a card if it fell on the floor. I just saw two, but I'll show them. Winter is the first one, an ending, recharging, reflection, and that's what I've been through. That's the winter card. And I will read those quickly. I'm just, because these fell out, I'm not saying they're not as important, but, and the other card that popped out was sow, S-O-W, planning, setting intentions, optimism. And that's interesting because that's kind of how I feel at the moment. I'm watching things grow, my 2 channels, as well as getting my writing projects in order. But let's see what the actual deck said, book says. So I hope there is, yes there is. So we're looking for winter 21. And this is the thing about learning about tarot, you do have to use the books, especially if they're different or special tarot decks that don't follow the usual Rider-Waite kind of meanings and symbolism. But there's the book. I don't know if you can see it, but that's an ending, recharging, reflection. So the reflection is, what big lessons have you learned after slowing down and allowing yourself time to reflect on what has ended or passed? I've learned a lot of lessons since I've really opened up since January. Slowing down, we went through that Mercury retrograde. That was several weeks of feeling like spinning my wheels and going nowhere. But I have become more intentional in terms of using spreadsheets to map the kind of content I'm going to be sharing on each channel. So the winter card, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says it encourages rest and reflection on what has come to be. Now that's what was happening. I think I'm coming out of this. Mourn if you need to. Identify the things that went well and what you want to do differently. As you engage in this reflection, remember to look ahead to spring, we're in spring now, and begin to consider what projects you'd like to focus on next, using the knowledge you've gained from this time of assessment. And I am putting some more video content out on my Portal Stormer channel soon about how I've been travelling with the mental health and how the therapy at BetterHelp has really helped me keep on track. And I really feel it's only been, this is the 4th month now, well really, it's really 3 months since the 25th of January when I went on the retreat, and just in those few months there, when I look back now, I was impatient that whole time. I really have done a lot of work on myself. I'm surprised with, you know, I've made a lot of progress. There's still things to do, but I'm surprised with how much I've been able to accomplish in just a few months when I was in such a deep pit for years and just let it continue. So it's really weird how they've worked out. Anyway, that's fine. So, S-O-W. There we are. So it says, are you ready to start something new? Well, I'm something new on top of what I'm doing. I could take it on. Now I will say this, I have an interview coming up for a remote job in a couple of weeks that I'm really looking forward to, so I hope that's what it's talking about. But it says, the first paragraph is them talking, it's like storytelling, so I'm not going to go into that. But the So card tells you that now is the optimal time to set things in motion. Plant your seeds and nurture them. Lock in your intentions and take the first steps along the path you've planned. Act now for future yield. Prime your material and environment for the best outcome. If you've been hesitating, now's the time to act. And I am acting. It's really interesting. Just last week, the energy levels have picked up for me, especially since Mercury retrograde ended. I want to say something else about shuffling cards. Everybody has all their own little ideas and rules about how they do theirs. Don't ever, like this is, for example, I'm going to do, how you intersperse the cards. I used to do that when I used to play cards when I was younger, so I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that. Some people say if you do, you muddy the waters, the meanings will be different. It didn't work anyway, so I'll go with it. But now I'm uncrossing my legs, even though that might be superstitious of me. I just want to keep the lines open for the energies coming up to flow through me. I'm asking the universe, especially on today, being the pink moon, what do you have to tell me? I'm going to do a 3-card reading. I like doing those. I like short, sharp. But I'm going to ask what's coming for me in light of the pink moon. How are things going to happen for me, let's say, for the next month? Keep that short too. For the next month, what's happening for me? So I like to spread them all out in a semicircle. That's just me, so I can choose the cards without looking at them. I trust my fingers to do the walking, as I've said before. And I'll just put these cards to the side and then I'll show you what I got. So for in the past, what brought me to here, I get harvest, and the meaning is determination, hard work. I'll read the meaning for that in a minute. So that's what's brought me to here. That's the recent past, and I have been doing a lot of hard work, not only working a full-time job but creating content for my channels, and very determined. Usually with my ADHD, it's squirrel, I've got to go and turn to something else, but I've been really good with keeping myself on track, and I think processing the trauma has helped with that. So where I am now, pine tree, vitality, longevity, perseverance. Yep, we'll read the meanings in a sec. And where I'm going, this is the outcome card. I always get nervous with the outcome card, so this is for within a month's time. The outcome is sage, one of my favourite herbs. Wisdom, purification, harmony. We could all do with some harmony, right? So anyway, let us read it. I feel positive about that. Gaining wisdom as we work our way through. It's always the way. It's an ongoing process. So I'm going to start with harvest. That's what's brought me to now. I wonder how they... Yes, okay, 127. Oh, it's the very last card. Oops. So, determination, hard work. So the reflection is, are you burning out because of too much hard work too quickly? Yeah, it's been pretty tough. How can you give yourself support as you reap the bounty of your efforts? So, I've been nurturing myself to the best of my abilities. And burning out work, my job is very intense. It's very people facing. It's social services. It's overblown expectations and people in your face all the time projecting their trauma onto you. I don't know why I went back into it, but anyway, that's what I sort of deal with. And I've just had to learn how to shield myself definitely there, bending over backwards for the people who are really proactive, and you can tell Ernest not trying to project their crap onto you, but I'm closing the door off to those who, like the zombies, you know. Anyway, so sometimes you might think it's all about sitting back and enjoying the fruits of your labour. It's important to appreciate your success, but don't lose your way. The Harvest card directs you to collect your bounty, to recognise your blessings, and to not stop working too early. You're almost there, but you will still have things to see through. Work to recoup the energy you previously invested. Yeah, that's how it's been, one foot ahead of the other. So where I am now, the pine tree. Let us see. 85. Pine trees I've always had an affinity with. Where I grew up, or one of the places where I grew up, actually the one we ended up staying for a long time, the whole area used to be a pine tree, and I've always loved pine cones and the smell of pine, whether it be at Christmas time or just playing in the park where the pine trees were. So there's the book. There's the page on the book, and it says, have you given up on something you shouldn't have? Interesting. Let's see. Again, this is in the position of where I am now. Pine. Actually, I'll read the first bit because it looks like there's some meaning into it, not just storytelling. So we know that the pine tree is a symbol of life, and it's enduring. The promise that even if things seem dark, it's not over. Some kinds of pine trees have root systems that are centuries old, and while a single tree may die, the established root system can introduce a new seedling to replace it. The rejuvenation cycle tells us that even when something appears to be dead or finished, there are still roots alive. Ain't that the truth? Nothing is ever truly gone. Don't give up on it. Pine is a popular building material. It absorbs shock, is resistant to excessive swelling and shrinking, and although it dents easily, it is long-lasting. The pine tree card tells you to hang in there. Life may be knocking you around a bit, but even dented, you're reliable and can last longer than you think. I've always had that resilience in me, and it's kind of something that I grit my teeth against, because that means other people will always be coming at me and dumping shit on me. But I've learned how to put up those barriers and withdraw, you know, in certain circumstances. But I find that really interesting, because sometimes that was something that would really upset me. Everyone expects me to be the Rock of Gibraltar. But if I take a minute or do something for myself, all of a sudden I'm selfish. So, yeah, that feels true. And I will always be a stoic person. I'll be hanging in there. So I think that's not a problem. So let's see with sage. I love growing sage, and I love sage in food, especially in stuffing. Here I am talking about food. It's nearly dinner time. I should be cooking, but you know, whatever. So 35 sage. There's the picture. Oops. So wisdom, purification, harmony. The reflection says, how can you help to facilitate the communication of wisdom from your surroundings? From my surroundings, okay. Sage is a wise herb. It reassures you that you are grounded and stable, and that the wisdom you need is easily accessible if you look in the right place. The Sage card reminds you that insight can appear from unlikely sources. Being in harmony with your environment allows you to receive messages and act on them more easily than if you were living in discord. Listening can bring balance, and purification can remove obstacles that further cloud that exchange of information and communication. Sorry, I felt like the grammar was wrong there. And remember that what may not make sense now might fall into place later. Don't be so quick to dismiss advice that doesn't make sense immediately. Remain open, and wisdom will come to you. That's definitely true, and with the purification, it really does feel like I've been going through a transformation, purification process since the retreat in January. I know it's an ongoing thing, but burning off those lower parts of yourself that no longer serve you or that were ridiculous. Like, I'm really doing my best not to project when I'm angry, when people are triggering me, and it seems to be working. I find that if I look at them as children, not being mean, but just, they're just a person projecting something they haven't resolved. And I'm not saying, oh, I'm so wise, sitting on my lofty cloud looking down my nose at people. I'm still going through it and working it out. But one thing I've never done is run at people I don't know, projecting and telling them, dumping them my trauma on them, like telling them the whole life story. Other people will do that to me. Now, I'm a good listener, and I'm very compassionate, but it has been getting to a point where it's enough. I'm drowning, Anyway, now I'm switching to the Woodland Wardens. I think I might do the same thing. I'm feeling inspired to let the universe tell me. So let me shuffle them. Now, these cards aren't as square as the other ones. These are just like regular tarot cards when it comes to the size. I don't like it when they make them too bulky or whatever, but you get used to them after a while. While I'm shuffling these, I'm thinking about the pink moon. I'm thinking about where I'd like to be in the next month. But I like to know the things that I don't know, if you know what I mean. There's a lot I know about how things are going to go based on what I'm doing, the decisions I'm making, the things I'm saying and everything. Keep my eye out for opportunities and stuff. So when it comes to, will I get this job? Will this happen? Will that happen? Obviously the answer is yes if you put the work into it. So that's why sometimes I like to ask the universe to tell me. So yeah, you tell me. That one looked at me. What? Oh. The snake and fern. Oops. Starting over. That popped out. Let's look at that one first. The snake and fern, starting over. I hope there's a little guide as to what card is on what page, because they haven't, when it's not set out like the tarot, like the Rider-Waite deck, for example, it makes it difficult. And that number there was 14, and being a numerologist, that reduces to 5, which is my number. So, the snake and fern. Okay, 34. Oh my God. Ugh. Now, I don't like the way they've set this book up. There's no way to figure out. You would assume that hang on, here we go. What they've done, the number of the card is the number of the page, but they've got Roman numerals. That's all well and good. But, meanwhile, back at the ranch, anyway, there's me being judgmental, but there's the picture in the book. Starting over. The snake and fern, I've always loved ferns too, and I love snakes, not spiders. The snake and fern calls us to start anew. Again? Regularly shedding its skin, the snake is a symbol of rebirth and transformative healing. And in many cultures, the fern is associated with new life and new beginnings. To the Maori of New Zealand, an image of the unfurling silver fern frond, or koru, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, is a central motif indicating growth and a return to one's origins. Together the snake and fern inspire confidence as we start over or embark along a new path. So, a rebirth is imminent. Summon the magical protection of the fern and wriggle free of old trappings. Can I grow by returning to my point of origin? Who or what protects me when I shed my skin and become vulnerable? Well, I'm protected. My husband's a wonderful protector, but I can also protect myself. And I like that meaning because I have been going through transformation. I have been going back to my roots to figure out, digging up old memories, sorting things out. So, yeah, that's one that popped out anyway. But I like that. I feel that's true. I have been going through transformation. Yeah, interesting. So anyway, I just want to point that out too in my videos. I'm often saying that's interesting. So I apologise if it's not interesting to you. And I should think of another word. But anyway, so I'm going to fan them out, and I'm asking the universe, you tell me what's coming for the next month. Especially in terms of this healing, the pink moon, la-di-da. You tell me, you know what to tell me. I don't want to tell you how to tell me. Anyway, let's see. So we're going to do 3 like I like to do. 1, 2, 3. Alright, let's close them up. And look at these 3. I love the design on the back of the card too, if you can see it. That's really quaint on the Woodland Wardens. So the first card, where I was, what brought me to here. The Weasel and Pine. Pine again. Introspection. Yep, that's what I was going through. A lot of introspection, writing, digging up old memories, contemplating who I am, how I can be better, and all that jazz. So that's where I was, what brought me to here. Where am I now? Oh, I love the dragonfly. The dragonfly and pansy. Balance. Oh my God, that is true. I've been very balanced, especially the last week. And with this pink moon, I feel like those energies are really helping out. I love that. And I love dragonflies. I often think of dragonflies as sort of like the in-between, I don't know if you'd call it a concierge or someone who can help you travel to the dream world, astral travel. I always think of the dragonfly as a totem for dreams and astral travel, because I love dreams and interpreting, plus I astral travel a lot more when I was younger. So, the outcome, the great reveal, let's see. The squirrel and chestnut. Preparation. I've been preparing. See, there's my impatience. But it's always a lot of things going on, and there's always new cycles. So anyway, let's read the meaning there. Where did I put the book? Alright, we're going to start with the Weasel and Pine. Introspection. Oh, I went right to the page. How exciting. There it is. Oops. And weasels can be warriors or spies, moving quickly and often alone. They make observations from afar and adjust their plans accordingly. Remember that solitary creatures, and I'm a solitary creature mostly, solitary creatures are nothing to fear, and an introverted nature is nothing to feel ashamed of. Knowing oneself and being comfortable alone are desirable skills. Like the weasel, the pine tree works to be self-sufficient. One of the fastest growing evergreens, its prickly needles have a waxy coating that helps them retain water. So you are called to a time of solitude. That's where I was. Remember, that was in the position of the past. So that was definitely what I was doing. Isolation allows for contemplation, which can lead to self-knowledge. And that is definitely what I went through. And now we're going to do the dragonfly and pansy. I just love showing the dragonfly, giving the dragonfly screen time. Anyway, dragonfly and pansy, how do they What number was that? XLV. You know, I used to know my Roman numerals off by heart. I think that's towards the end. XLV. There he is. I don't know why I'm showing you the book, but anyway, that's how it looks in the book. Very sweet imagery. Perching with a delicate grace, the dragonfly is a symbol of balance. That is how I feel at the moment. Nimble and attuned as a dancer, it moves effortlessly through the air, shifting direction with ease. Pansies are named for the French word penser, meaning thought, and were given by the Victorians as tokens of thoughtfulness. Together, the dragonfly and pansy indicate a harmony of thought and action. So, like a dragonfly hovering above the water, you are healthy and confident. Your physical skill is matched by your mental and emotional strength. Good. I like that because I do feel like I'm maintaining, and at least if that's the best you can hope for. And the last one, the outcome, of course, the squirrel and the chestnut. It does say preparation, so I don't know whether that means preparation for a new phase, because maybe I'll get this job. So that number is XX19. And I'm really sorry that you're watching me look at a book. So XX1X. I'm really sorry about this. I wish they hadn't have done it this way. They should have just had, like the other book had, this card, that page number. Anyway, so there's the preparation. Squirrel and chestnut. To ensure sustenance through the winter, the squirrel buries its nuts, hiding them from other squirrels and predators. Chestnuts, small nuts that grow into large productive trees, are symbols of abundance. Together, the squirrel and chestnut remind us that careful preparation will often yield riches. You have prepared well and can expect to enjoy the fruits of your labour. Your resourcefulness and foresight will be rewarded. Well, that feels like really nice and cosy. I was freaking out then, feeling like it was telling me I have to do it all over again, but I know it's an ongoing process, and that's something I've had to learn just over the last few weeks. What happens when I'm creating this content, I feel like I'm rushing, but I forgot that I actually enjoy the process of creating. So I need to stop going at breakneck speed because I work a full-time job and only get X amount of hours at home to do what I love doing. And since I've been slowing down and taking time, taking stock, and really understanding what I want to do and how I enjoy this, I'm actually forcing myself to stop and enjoy the process, and that is helpful. But anyway, I hope this was interesting to you. I will be doing collective readings sometime in the future, so I hope you can stick around for that or come back for that, and in that case subscribe or at least like the video. That'd be wonderful. So anyway, thank you for being here, and I hope everything's doing well for you and that the pink moon helps heal whatever's going on for you.